Well, hello, y'all, and welcome to Astroneer 1.0. This is the new final release of the game. Well, I say final release, it's the release that has finally reached us. We've been playing early release for quite some time, and gotta say, tremendously fun game. But I do love the fact that in the release version, they have made some changes, which were pretty amazing. All through the early release, those of us who played know that we were testing out all kinds of mechanics, different functionalities and such. And there was, had to say that there was a time during that period where I thought, I'm already going to know how to play the game when the game releases. So, is it really going to be that much fun? But I got to say, they've made some interesting changes. Certain mechanics are still there, but they're employed differently, and consequently, it makes the game like a brand new game. So, anyways, here we are. We're at the beginning. I have played a save game, as you can see here, and have kind of gotten myself familiarized with the new environment. But why don't you say we start a new game here and kind of see where we can go from there. We have different availabilities of different suits that are open up to us. The retro suit I have, of course, because I've been playing since early release, since, oh my gosh, I think since it became available. But great game in that aspect. So let's go, though, with something like the, I don't know, let's go with the flight suit. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll just go with the Exo Standard for now. And let's go with the gold mirrored front. And that looks good. So here we go. Let's start a new game. I'm going to launch off the space station here. And it's going to send us down to the planet. As we're heading down, we can maneuver a little bit to look around. You'll see interesting landmarks out there, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Well, let's see where it drops us initially and kind of go from there. Alright, we drop down in the Dropship, as you can see here, and some of the keybinds have changed. So if you played it in the past and you want to check your keybinds, some of the changes made, I guess, good sense. In other aspects, it changed it in such a way that I was not comfortable with it. So I did change some of the things back. For example, in rotating objects, they changed it to C and Z for left and right. I moved it back to X and Y simply because, or X and Z, because that's what I was familiar with. And, kind of like to do that. We hop out here by pressing R, and it will start the auto phase here of our new base. And throws down the landing pad, the habitat, and a little bit of ground cover. And boom, there we are. Now, one of the significant changes that you'll see here with the new release is that here, this is missing in the shelter. Now, we still have the built-in power generator over here, or RTG, but the Oxygenator, the thing that provides oxygen to the tethers and such items, linked platforms, is not here by default. You actually have to create it. Now, thankfully, as a part of the initial drop over here, because this landing pad here, similar to in the early release, we can go into that, and it gives us our initial cargo drop, which is sort of in the survival sense. It's like, okay, here you go, have fun, hope you live. So there we go. The items that it gives us here initially, we get the same things that we had before. We get the starting platform. We do get the starting medium trimmer, and we also get the Oxygenator, which they give you one right off the bat, which is awesome because otherwise you wouldn't be able to stray too far from the shelter. So first things first, let's take the Oxygenator and let's go ahead and put this in place. And pretty much everything now is activated by using the R key. You hold it down, it does the unpacking, and boom. So now we have oxygen, which is awesome. But yeah, pretty much with everything that there is now, like even when you're dealing with items out in the world, there's going to be a need for pressing the R key and either maintaining that hold or something similar to be able to either open it or such as that. You can see it does tell you whatever keys you designate for your rotating, it does show them to you, so it is dynamic in that sense. If you decide to keep the standard C and Z, you're good to go, but if you change it, it'll show it to you right here. And moving it around is quite easy. So let's go ahead and unpack this item as well. Now, these do, as you can see, it says starter item, and the reason it says that is very specifically because of the fact, oh, you know what, I'm going to turn this with the arrow pointing out, because that's the default direction that items that you put on it are going to face. We'll go ahead and pull the plug and plug it in, so you can see we are getting power. But you'll notice that on here it says starting platform, starting medium generator, or medium printer, and the reason that's important is this. And I'll show it to you just for the sake of showing it to you. Get everything set up here, and you're like, oh wow, that was really great. I love getting stuff from space. Let's get some more. So you press this R, and you notice that it says reinitialize cargo drop. Now, you got to take note of what it says here, though. Recycle extant startup package. Now, what that means is quite simply this. If I hit this button, boom, they're all gone. So, you know, don't think, okay, I can get like a whole bunch of tables, and I can get some printers, and I can get another Oxygenator. No, you can't. You get the initial drop, and that initial drop is just intended to hold you over until you learn to be able to craft your own. Once you can craft your own, you know, yeah, you could get rid of that starter pack if you wanted to. But, you know, at this point, I've not had a situation where I've really thought, okay, well, I'll just get rid of the starter pack. But hey, I don't know, maybe someday I will. Alright, let's put things back the way we had it for the demonstration. And the medium printer, pop that out. So, that's our starter items. Similar to the pre-release or early release, entering in or leaving the habitat will now create a save in your game, which is handy. And of course, the other way to save is you can, use the escape, and you can use this menu here to either save and quit out to the main menu, or save and quit completely. All right, so a couple of things to point out that have changed, which are very interesting in that aspect, is that there are now essentially 4 printers. Okay, and here's what we've got. If you hit the tab key, which now brings up the crafting menu, you will find that there are 4 tabs here. First tab, as the symbol indicates, is your backpack. On the backpack, you'll have various things that you can create that are already unlocked when you come in. You have tethers unlocked, you have oxygen filters unlocked, and you have canisters unlocked. Going down further, you have small generator unlocked, which is handy for being able to generate power utilizing organic material. Then you have the small printer. Now the small printer will lead you to this button. This button on the small printer allows you to print out these objects. Some of them have to be unlocked with bytes. I'll show you about that here in just a few minutes. But some of them are unlocked by default. For example, the medium storage, that's unlocked all the from the beginning, which is great. The initial medium platform is unlocked, but you notice it's the one without the wings. So it's just they give you the very minimum that's unlocked for you to be able to use, and the rover seat as well unlocked. The other thing that's unlocked is a medium printer. So if you did want to get rid of your starter pack, you'd have to be able to print out one of these first to replace the starting medium printer. Boy, talk too fast and you get in trouble. So that's that. Now, with the medium printer, you get access to this menu. Now, this menu shows the things that the medium printer can print. The large storage module, the large platform, once again, not the one with the wings on it for extra storage or other, but just the plain Jane 1 block large platform, which you have to have a large platform for any of the process modules. Process modules meaning things like the research chamber, the smelting furnace, centrifuge, chemistry lab, and yada yada. You know, all those things, all of these things will require a large platform, whether it's the initial large or whether it's the extended large, whatever, you know, A, B, and C. Well, it doesn't matter. It just has to be one of the large. You can't put it on a medium platform, which can be printed off of the other menus. The other things that are unlocked by default is the research chamber. Now that's good because you'll need the research chamber to start gaining bytes, research bytes, to then be able to unlock other items. So that's those things there. And okay, well, there's one more thing that's unlocked, and that is the large printer. Requires 3 compound, but can be printed using the medium printer. The large printer brings you to this button. Now in here, initially unlocked, is another shelter, which is great. You think, oh great, I can build another shelter. Well, yes and no. Because if you'll notice here, it says you have to have 2 plastic and 2 silicon. Well, now to get plastic and silicon, you're going to have, from over here on the medium printer, you're going to have first the chemistry lab. Chemistry lab allows you to be able to combine items to make other items, which we'll need to make plastic and to make rubber and silicon and things of that nature. But you also notice here that to make the chemistry lab, you're going to require tungsten. Now, unlike in the early release where you could stumble upon wrecked ships that just might have some of these, you know, more unique or rarer items, not so much now in the 1.0 release. If you want tungsten, that's going to require you to go off planet. And to get off planet, there is a series of things you're going to have to do first. Now, additionally, after the chemistry lab, there is the atmospheric condenser. Now, the reason this is important is the atmospheric condenser is going to be required because some of these things that you're going to do on the chemistry lab is going to require gases. The various gases that are available are all dependent upon what planet you're on. Some planets have different gases. So, if you need a gas, for example, like argon or helium or something like that, you're not going to be able to get it here on the starter Terran type planet. You're going to have to go to one of the others. Now, the other things that are available on the large printer, pardon me, it's going to be the solar array, once again requiring certain items that you're going to have to craft. The extra large storage, which requires steel, which is a compound used that you can create, once again, using that refinery that I spoke of earlier. Iron, which is something you're not going to find on this planet. And then there's the other platforms as well. You've got the extra large platform, you've got the extra large platform B, which is, for me, up until recently, this was one of my favorite platforms because it allowed you to be able to stick a bunch of solar panels up there and also stick a bunch of those large, or I guess they're larger, they medium wind turbines up there and generate a significant amount of power, which is great. It's always handy. But in some ways that just recently got, I don't know, I guess replaced because now you can create this solar array, and the solar array creates a significant amount of power. So it's a very handy tool to have. Then your last menu here under the large printer is the large rover and your various shuttles. You've got your small shuttle, your medium shuttle, and your large shuttle. Now, the difference in these is this. Now, the small shuttle, basically, it's you. You can get in that shuttle. It's got a spot in it for an oxygenator, and then, you know, you can go off to other planets. The medium shuttle has got a spot for you, a spot for your oxygenator, and then it has a spot for a 2-block module that you can stick in there. You know, similar to, like, you know, maybe a medium storage or something along those lines. And then you've got the large shuttle. Large shuttle has got 4 storage spots, 4 of the double spot storage spots. Well, that's kind of a tongue twister. But anyways, So, as you increase in availability, it makes a difference. Now, the little catch is this, and that's the propellant. Here on the small printer, you'll find that you can make, once you unlock them, you have different thrusters. You have your solid fuel thruster, which uses aluminum and ammonium, both items that you will be able to find here on the starter planet. But then you've got the hydrazine thruster. Hydrazine thruster is pretty awesome, because similar to what was in the early release, you just use canisters of hydrazine and you plug them into the 3 ports that are around it. Boom, you've got power. Now, the drawback is this. First of all, to make the hydrazine thruster, you're going to have tungsten and titanium alloy, of which you are not going to find typically on this starter planet. It is going to require you to go to another planet, which means you're going to have to use the solid fuel thruster for a while. One thing to keep in mind is this. The solid fuel thruster is good for 1 round trip. That means it will launch you off of this planet, take you to another one, land you there, allow you to be able to get whatever you're going to get, and then come back to this planet. That is going to be the round trip. If you decide that you're on another planet and you go, oh, look, over there, I wonder what's over on that planet, or on that moon, or whatever, you will find yourself stranded on that other planet, unless you make a couple of extras of these and put them on your backpack, because these items that are crafted under the small printer are small enough to fit on your backpack. Or if you have a medium storage and you stick it in there, you can do that. So, important things to keep in mind for when you're going forward. Items created with the small printer will fit on your backpack. Items created with the medium printer will fit in a double point slot. Things created with the large printer will require a double slot, if you know what I'm talking about. Like on the back of the large rover, you know how it's got the double slot? Yeah, that's what it's going to require. So anyway, I think that's clear as mud. Anyway, so that's enough of messing around in that. Yes, you're probably like, yes, thank you, Signal. That was enough like a long time ago. But anyway, so here's our platform. Now, my apologies. One thing that you're going to need right off the bat is we're going to need some compound, and we're going to need some resin. The resin we're going to need because not really necessarily for creating oxygen filters as much as we're going to need it for creating canisters. The canisters are important because if you're going to do anything, land modification wise, you want the canisters so that you can be collecting that dirt so that you can then either fill in or create flat spots or whatever you need. Looks like we have some compound over here. I'll go ahead and grab it first. And I try not to dig too deep when I'm doing this because I don't want to make a whole bunch of holes that I can end up falling into later. So just get what we can get surface wise and then spread that work out, and then we can eventually come back and get more whenever we can then fill in those holes more appropriately. So you can see along here on my backpack, it shows where my oxygen is slowly filtering down. Obviously that is not a good thing when you're concerned about having oxygen. So you want to get back before you get into the tail end. You'll notice right here, if I stand out here a little bit further away, once it gets down to a second point, you get your second notification. At that point, you'll start to breathe heavy. And at that point, you're heading towards suffocation. You stay away too long, and you'll start seeing it. You'll start getting red around the edges of your screen, indicating to you that, hey, you are running out of oxygen. You are dying. Hurry, get to O2. So we will. Anyway, so coming back here, let's go ahead and create ourselves some tethers. And this will allow us to be able to have a little bit more freedom in getting out there and seeing what we can find. Now I've noticed that it's kind of changed, so by default it wants to stick everything up on upper points right away. I don't like doing that per se, because I prefer to be able to have those open so that when the time comes, if I find something, on a vehicle, a crashed vehicle, like a wind turbine, or I find a solar panel, I can actually utilize that. So, all right. So let's go out this way. And you drop a tether by pressing the T key. Usually what I'll do is I go until the tether line disappears and then pop it down. Now, if you're concerned about, getting the most bang for your buck, you can click on the tether, pull it out until it just stops connecting to the one behind. And then at that point, you've got maximum reach on that tether. If you're in a hurry, though, you probably don't want to be messing around with that. But normally, if you've got the time, it's not too bad. Just drop one, stretch it out in front of you until the tether breaks, then bring it back a little bit, and then you're good to go. All right. Let's see here. I'm working my way over to these vehicles that I see. There's platforms and vehicles that are kind of crashed around us. And some of these are going to be important in the future. One of the things that's available to us, and this is what I was talking about earlier. See, now we have a small solar panel on this crashed or wrecked platform, and there are two things on here that are good for us. One is the small solar panel. That's good because if I grab it here, you can do it by hitting shift and click. It will put it up here, and then once the sun comes back up, I'll have something that will be regenerating my power. A very good thing to have. The other thing is this medium solar panel. Now, I've hit the wrong key. Medium solar panel, it's intact, so it's good. Although the platform it's on is not any good. Not a big deal. And you notice some of these things say debris. But by default, if I click on them, I can't pick them up. Now, the bigger items like this, you'll see that they're labeled, junk item too large for salvage process. Now, that's true right now, because one of the things that you'll probably may have noticed is that one of the things that we can make in our various printers here, one of the things that we'll be able to unlock eventually is the medium shredder, which will shred smaller items similar to like some of these smaller pieces that are kind of laying around here, like small debris and things like that. But then also there is the large shredder. Now this large shredder, obviously we have to have some advanced materials to do it, but that will allow us to be able to grind up larger items, things that are of a size similar to like a damaged giant solar panel or medium solar panel, things like that. But one of the things that was sort of leaked, and I say leaked, I don't know if it's really leaked because it actually came from, it looked like to be one of the developers, is the fact that it looks like they're coming out with a huge huge shredder, and that huge shredder will build, hopefully allow us to be able to shred items like this, these platforms, and give us more use. The reason that's important is in the previous editions of the game, in the pre-release, you could use a trade platform to send up just about any kind of material, organic or resin or compound, and swap them out for higher level materials at a ratio relevant to the value of the item you were trying to get. But now, basically since I guess a few editions back, they changed that so that you have to use scrap. And the scrap is obtained by using the shredders. So now another change that they've made, which is handy, is carrying items. You'll notice that in the past, for items like these solar panels, you would have to click it, hold it, and then try to run and move with it and carry it back to wherever you're going. A nice addition that they've made is this. With these medium-sized items, you can shift-click, and you're carrying it, and you can jump and run and basically go almost as fast as you could without it, which is a great addition. Now, we don't have a place to put this yet, so what I'm going to do is just stick this right here. It does us no good because it's not providing any power, but it is a handy little item to have. So anyway, so what I'm going to be doing now, and we'll be doing probably for a little while, is gathering the materials necessary to continue expanding this base. There's items like getting more of this compound, looking around, finding some resin, because I'm going to need resin, and then going from there. But hey, we've already been going for nearly 30 minutes, and that's not long, probably as long as you can probably put up with my voice. So hey, thanks for joining me here, Signal 5. I appreciate the time that you've given. This is Astroneer 1.0, a game that I think is going to be an amazing game. So hey, we'll see you again soon. Take care.